97.3 Est-Ouest 91.7. RM1 at 9 o'clock. The news with Eris Stewart. Good morning, Eris.
Morning, Sophie.
The headlines.
Kishore Bigu resigns as chairman of Air Mauritius, citing political pressure and internal disagreements. Mauritius prepares to launch its first liver transplant program, a major medical milestone following the country's 12th successful kidney transplant. Authorities face growing outrage over the case of a teenage girl hospitalized for nearly a year due to the absence of family support. Over 1,300 Mauritians already registered for the 2026 Hajj pilgrimage under a newly computerized system introduced by the Islamic Cultural Center. United Nations marks its 80th anniversary on October 24 under the theme Building Our Future Together, with Mauritius reaffirming its commitment to sustainable development and international cooperation. In world news, EU leaders hold crucial talks in Brussels to set 10-year emissions reductions target ahead of the COP20 climate summit. And in sports news, the Mauritius Olympic Committee confirms its election date for October 25 amid tensions over voting eligibility between sports federations. Kishore Bigu has resigned from his position as chairman of the board of Air Mauritius. He made the announcement late yesterday afternoon, saying his decision was motivated by political pressure. He believes that disagreements with a faction within Government House are affecting the management of Air Mauritius. We take a listen to more on this report, voiced over by Sheza Juman.
At a press conference, Kishore Bigu announced his resignation from Air Mauritius, a decision motivated, he said, by political interference. He believes that such pressures have an impact on the management of Air Mauritius.
On peut décider d'aller parce qu'il ne peut pas faire avec l'équipe d'affaires, et deuxième, Paul Béranger n'est pas d'accord avec son manière de faire.
Kishore Bigu stated that he decided to step down because he refused to simply do as he was told. Secondly, he expressed his dissatisfaction with the way Paul Béranger operates. He explained that politicians often ask you to do things that you shouldn't. For example, in the Madagascar incident, when 10 employees of the Safety Review Board advised against sending the plane, he, as chairman, could not have made the decision to allow the flight to proceed. Had the plane been shot down, he would have been questioned and he would have been held liable. He added that someone can be Deputy Prime Minister but still not know what they are talking about. And the firm stance taken by the outgoing chairman concerns the project of finding a strategic partner for MK. Qatar Airways has been repeatedly mentioned in the media. According to the government, such a decision would help revive the national airline. However, Kishore Bigu described it as the sale of national asset. Does this resignation come ahead of the finalization of that partnership project? There are things that will happen which I cannot disclose, but people know that I oppose the way things are unfolding. I prefer to step down and maintain my dignity as chairman while making it clear that the decisions to be made are not the right ones. During this press conference, the outgoing chairman also spoke about his record, which he considers to be positive.
When contacted, Deputy Prime Minister Paul Béranger said he had no comment to make. Health Minister Anil Bechu has announced the upcoming launch of liver transplants in Mauritius, a first for the country, made possible thanks to the support of foreign specialists, including Dr. Sanju Sobnak, a Mauritian surgeon based in South Africa, as well as Dr. Sonal Astana and Dr. Zafar Khan. This initiative follows the success of the 12th kidney transplant performed locally and marks a major step forward for the national health system. During a visit to Victoria Hospital, the minister also acknowledged the shortage of specialized staff in oncology, but assured that new experts will soon be recruited. In a case that has sparked outrage and embarrassment among the authorities, a teenage girl has been hospitalized for nearly 1 year due to the lack of a family solution. The Ministry of Gender Equality now says it is closely monitoring the case. More on this report by Santana Ponsono, voiced over by Jean-François Lecning.
The Department for Gender Equality is now closely monitoring the case of his teenager who has been kept in hospital for almost a year with no family or social solution in sight. According to our information, an official decision is expected to be announced by next week following several meetings between the Child Development Unit, the department and other relevant authorities. This case, which has been made public in recent days, has caused deep unease among the medical profession, who point out that the hospital is not a placement center for minors. We are here to treat, not to raise children, say members of the nursing staff. Behind this case, it is the irresponsibility of the parents that is shocking. Both the mother and father seem incapable of fulfilling their duties, leaving the state and hospital staff with a situation that has become both inhumane and untenable.
1,348 people have already registered for the 2026 Hajj pilgrimage out of the 1,500 visas granted by Saudi Arabia. The Islamic Cultural Center announced that registration is now being handled through a fully computerized system to prevent human errors and possible abuse. 3 staff members have already been suspended following the findings of the fact-finding committee report on the 2025 Hajj. The chairman of the ICC board also confirmed that a bill, the ICC bill, is being drafted to better regulate the center's operations. Pilgrims will be able to choose their travel agencies from October 28 via the ICC website. And in other news, October 24 marks United Nations Day, celebrating 80 years since the organization's founding under the theme Building Our Future Together. Created in 1945, the UN works for peace, human rights, and sustainable development. This day serves as a reminder of the importance of multilateralism and cooperation in addressing global challenges such as climate change, inequality, and conflict. In Mauritius, several UN-backed projects in education, environment, and social inclusion reflect this collective commitment to a fairer and more sustainable future. And it's 9:07. You're listening to RM1, where we move to international news. EU leaders launched a final sprint on Thursday to agree on a 10-year target to cut carbon emissions ahead of a key UN climate conference, laying out conditions including leaving the door open to future revisions. The heads of the European Union's 27 states held talks in Brussels to chart a way forward between competing goals to support the bloc's ailing businesses, including its cherished car industry, and to play a lead role in the climate fight. The gathering came with the EU under pressure to agree on their next big emissions target ahead of the United Nations COP30 climate summit, which starts in Brazil on November 10. No final decision was reached and none was expected, but the discussions should provide fodder for a deal within 2 weeks. And finally, in sports, after several months of uncertainty, the date for the elections of the Mauritius Olympic Committee has finally been set. They will take place on October 25 in the presence of 3 commissioners from the Independent Electoral Commission. This was announced following the Extraordinary General Assembly of the MOC held yesterday afternoon at its headquarters in Trianon. The session was marked by the early departure of the president of the Mauritius Tennis Federation, Jean-Michel Giraud, who argued that the interim committee of the Handball Federation should not be eligible to vote. In response, the MOC stated that the procedures are in full compliance with the international governing body of that discipline. That's all from me this morning. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay tuned now to the Intermeet playlist until 10 a.m.